Full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
It's time for Bonsall Pool and Spa's Truckload event. From September 23rd through the 27th, stop by Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard to see an actual truck full of hot tubs with special prices. You'll save up to $3,000 on all hot tubs and swim spas, as well as $1,500 on all saunas and cold plunges. Use Nebraska football's bye week well by stopping in on September 27th for refreshments and giveaways. That's Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard in Lincoln.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. Austin Norman here. Join me and Jay Foreman for Old School, live from Cornhusker Bank at 83rd and O this Friday for their Customer Appreciation Tailgate Party. Larry the Cable Guy will join us during the show, and there's free food and refreshments. We'll be out there for the show starting at 3. You're invited to join us from 4 to 6 p.m. this Friday for Cornhusker Bank's Customer Appreciation Tailgate Party, only at Cornhusker Bank on 83rd and O.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here, too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent, too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome into Serve and Volley, featuring Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator Jaylen Reyes. Serve and Volley gives you a look behind the curtain of Nebraska volleyball and a coach's perspective on the world of college athletics. Serve and Volley is sponsored by Love Volleyball Nebraska. Become a Love Volleyball Nebraska member for your chance to engage with Love and its players. Now it's time for First Serve on Serve and Volley with your host, Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arns still on the ones and twos as always. Come Ticket Weeknights. You guys can join in 402-464-5685. We got Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach. Second show, I believe. Yeah, you were in here. So second show on 93.7 The Ticket. Jaylen Reyes joining me as always. Like I said, that Starter Heyman text line is open. If you guys want to chime in, we'll definitely talk some volleyball as they maintain their undefeated record. They got a big game coming up here shortly. We'll get to all that. But before we do so, Jaylen, how's it going on a Tuesday night?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure bringing you in studio. And it's cool what DP's doing with Tuesdays in particular because we get our guy, Peter Colbout. He's late shift tonight. He's coming in, I believe, 10 to 11.
Wow.
But we'll still get to hear from him. But yeah, Tuesdays are kind of turning into a nice little tunnel vision into what the inside Nebraska program looks like. We didn't have Ridge in here today, but we also got some wrestling going on as well. And man, there's just a lot of excitement. Volleyball is undefeated. Wrestling, they got second place last year. Soccer, I know they had a lot of draws, but they are just fighting through it right now. And then, of course, tennis. Last year, Peter Colbout has some big successes there. Do you guys kind of feel like the ship's rising with all sports? Like, I know volleyball's kind of just been this constant, but can you feel the other programs kind of elevate the entire athletic?
For sure. I think it starts with leadership. And I think Troy Dannon is like an unbelievable athletic director. And, it kind of bleeds down into the rest of the admin. But no, I definitely feel, it's just we're all trying to chase each other to a degree. But at the same time, we're all so, supportive. Like, I mean, I'll go in just because our proximity to basketball and we use their weight room sometimes. I go in there and, Amy and Fred are always like, big one this week, Penn State, they're just like, it's a really awesome environment to be in, and there's some coaches we're a little closer to than others. One, just be purely because of proximity.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like Coach Manning, I always run into Amy Williams, Fred Hoiberg, a bunch of the football coaches, especially when we go over to training table. Everybody's so supportive. Obviously, usually I run into Peter, especially in the studio a bunch, and, no, but it's a really awesome time. I always say every day is a great day to be a Husker, but right now it's a really, really exciting time just because of the success of a lot of the fall sports so far. And, hopefully the winter sports and the spring sports can take it forward from there.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And it's one of my favorite things is you'll hear when I talk to student athletes a lot is them crossing over at the training table all the time. And you see it with Matt Rule. You see it with Fred Hoiberg. We'll see it with Busboom Kelly, I'm sure, as well, some more. But it's great when you see other coaches, and Dylan Rayola, players as well, Sam Hoiberg, they're showing up to other games. Like I can turn on volleyball and you'll be Matt Rule, and he's there, and then he'll go on the presser and talk about volleyball's big win and how his daughter's got him scheduled to go to 4 more games, in the upcoming weeks. So when you kind of get that, it feels like a lot of the coaches kind of get the whole Nebraska community thing, which is just phenomenal. And I do think it's just kind of rising all tides here. But we'll dive into volleyball a little bit. Undefeated so far, 12-0 after going through a really tough non-con schedule. They get to Big Ten play. They take care of Michigan to open it up. Then Maryland, back-to-back sweeps. Big away game, October 3rd, Penn State. What is the road like when you do travel to Penn State?
It's flying into Happy Valley. It's such a cool place to be, if I'm being honest. I love the college towns. And obviously State College is probably a top 5-10 college town, in terms of just that place. When you're there, it's about Penn State athletics and Penn State University, So every time we go there, every time we play them, it feels like we're going 5 no matter what. It's epic. People are talking about the match for weeks, on months, and even years sometimes. There's always a few plays that stick out in people's memories, whether we win or we lose. I think it's two programs that really respect each other, based on, the respect built by, the two former head coaches of both programs, John Cook and Coach Rose at Penn State. But every time we go there, it's awesome. I mean, usually they do their version of the whiteout. I'm not really sure scheduled, but it'll be a sellout, or it'll be packed. Usually they have their student section. They have the men's volleyball team sitting front row, making sure their presence is felt, if you know what I'm saying. And they always have a pretty funny student section. There's always somebody with this like whiteboard.
Really?
And they write honestly, the funniest things on it. Like, I'll sit there and crack up during the game because it's like, though it's a corn joke, or it's
right.
They're playing hangman and it's like dissing us, and they leave a couple of letters. But I always find myself, even as a coach, maybe during a timeout or as the girls are going back on the court, like checking out what's on the whiteboard, if I'm being honest. But it's such it's an environment that, equals to other sports is like college environment, and it's this older gym that has a ton of history. It has their banners from their wrestling program, which is obviously probably the best wrestling program in the country, to
right now.
Right now. But it's such there's just so much history at Rec Hall, and their community comes out, and and I think honestly also the volleyball, usually if I was a fan going to all these games, especially since I've been involved with Nebraska volleyball, it's like every time you go to Nebraska Penn State match, you get your money's worth. So hopefully we have another epic showdown on Fox, which is going to be another big deal. Just because, again, we're trying to get onto those major networks as volleyball programs. But every time Nebraska Penn State gets involved in volleyball, it's
moves the needle. Typically.
Oh yeah. It's usually a match where if you're looking at all the volleyball games throughout the country at the beginning of the season, when you see Nebraska and Penn State playing each other, you circle that one for sure within your first couple of circles.
Yeah. It's like a Bama, Georgia.
Georgia.
Football,
I think it's Ohio State, Michigan. I think it's that level of volleyball game for our sport. It's a Duke Carolina men's basketball game. It's two programs that want to achieve the same thing. Now that obviously, historically haven't been in the same conference. Now we're in the same conference, and some years we get to only play them once. Last year we got to play them twice, obviously once in the Final Four. And that's the other thing, right? We could end up playing them a couple, we're going to for sure play them 2 times. Maybe hopefully we get to play them down the road in the tournament in December.
Absolutely. And I like that. It's good to compare North Carolina Duke. Because, really, when you look at those two programs didn't only succeed within their own conferences, within their own, national play, but they just pushed the sport to a whole nother level. And that's where Penn State, I'm always rooting to beat those guys. It's hard to not like them because what they've done for the sport. I love Pat Nebraska on the back, but Penn State's been a huge part of what volleyball's become as well. And it's their program elevating at such a rate, pretty parallel to Nebraska at times, that's allowed these. Because if Nebraska's just blowing everybody out 3-0, it's not that entertaining.
No, I think it's definitely a measuring stick game for us, and typically we're always, we kind of end up being the measuring stick game for a lot of programs, and there's a few programs that when we get together with them, we kind of expect an epic matchup, and Penn State's definitely one of them. And going back years, it's volleyball, for those that don't know, used to be dominated by the West Coast teams.
Yeah.
You had Hawaii, you had Long Beach State, USC, UCLA, Stanford. And don't get me wrong, those teams are still really good. But there was the time, especially, in the 70s and 80s, there was 2 random volleyball programs that ended up being really good, especially when, most of the best players were out on the West Coast, but it was Penn State and Nebraska, So I don't know, being a part of the program, obviously not that long, but, the last 7 or 8 years now, I like to think both of these programs had a hand in bringing volleyball to the Midwest and toward the East Coast and to the South and to Texas, and obviously the University of Texas ended up becoming, a juggernaut too. So I don't know. I think they're I think you hit it on the head. Of course, we're competitive. Of course, we both are seeking literally the same two things, the Big Ten and the national championship. But I think also the one thing that our program, and I know if I can't speak for their staff, but their program, I would like to think has this responsibility too, is to keep growing the game and pushing the sport of volleyball. And, hopefully Friday night is another classic that helps do that.
Absolutely. And I do want to, I'm almost positive that's the way Penn State feels. Because I think after the volleyball day in Nebraska, I want to say the Penn State head coach even put out a nice little piece saying about how great that was for the sport of volleyball. So should be a good one to check out. I know you mentioned some teams that they're always kind of circling you. One that's not doing it just for the ranking, Creighton. Close one this year. What's it like when you're playing those in-state matches against Creighton, who's getting better and better, it feels like, every year?
It's just another game that I swear you can just book that we're going to play 5 sets, The Creighton match is such a cool match because we talk about how important volleyball is in the state of Nebraska.
And this was at the CHI, right?
This was at
Sold
CHI
out?
this year. Sold out. It seems like the number keeps getting bigger and bigger. It broke the
yeah, it is.
Gosh, there's so many of these attendance records, which is awesome, but it broke the regular season indoor because obviously the Volleyball Day in Nebraska, we have the total whatever you want to call it, but indoor regular season attendance record we took back from the Wisconsin-Florida game a few years ago at CHI. They basically just packed in a bunch of extra seats. There was actually a row of chairs. A bunch of our parents actually sat literally right behind our bench, which was a little interesting, if I'm being honest.
I didn't realize they did that. So
yeah.
They were putting extra seating.
Yeah, they were just getting extra seats in there, which was cool. And kudos to Creighton. But that game is such a cool thing because of the fact of, we talk about all the time how important the sport of volleyball here is in Nebraska. When you go to that game, especially when it's in Omaha, you see like the pillars of the sport. You see like a lot of the great high school coaches in the stands. You see a lot of the girls that can, I see a lot of really good high school players, whether we're recruiting them or not, in the stands. You see a lot of the alums from both schools that are at that game. Obviously both admins are there because it's a huge, it's a big thing for both athletic departments. And you just see how much I see club coaches, I see club directors, I see, we have people from LOVB volleyball and the PVF there, people from the Supernovas. Mm-hmm. It's such a cool celebration of volleyball in the state of Nebraska. And it's just another, it's a thing that, the fact that it goes back and forth, next year we'll be in Lincoln and the year after, I'm assuming we'll be back in CHI. It's one of those things where, it's such a privilege and an honor to be a part of. And then the fact that I 100% agree with you ever since I've been at Nebraska, they've been really good. So
when I first got here, I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I feel like they are just in the rankings way more.
They've definitely gotten better since I first got here. But when I first got here, we were actually my first time playing Nebraska. At Nebraska coaching against Creighton. We actually played up in Omaha and we actually lost the first 2 sets. We're down 0-2. We were lucky enough to come back and win against a really good Creighton team. And that was like the first time I was like, wow, this team is really good. And each year it's like they got better. They're getting better players. And, you look at the last couple of years, they've been able to grab some kids out of the portal that, were at really good schools that could have gone to other really good schools, but they chose Creighton, which hence they're a really good program, and, Coach Booth is obviously a legend, and I know Brian's going to keep growing it and taking it to newer heights. But it's such an awesome thing for us to have this awesome, in-state, North Carolina, Duke, right, and Louisville, Kentucky, and a bunch of sports, including volleyball. It
feels like an Iowa State.
We need them. We need them to be great, and it's awesome for the state for it to be great, and it just brings more attention to the sport of volleyball. And I think also that match, inspires, a bunch of young girls around the state to, hey, I want to play volleyball because, whether I'm a fan of the red team or the blue team, I want to be a part of that match one day when I grow up. So it's just another way, we can help grow the game and inspire the youth, the youth here in Nebraska. But it's such an honor to be a part of, and it's honestly such a fun match to coach in every single year.
Yeah, and it's always fun to watch again. Obviously, sold out. Didn't realize they brought even extra chairs to CHI to get that thing rolling. But, to the other point of it, I'm sure the recruiting grounds has gotten richer over time as well.
For sure.
The Midwest has just become the spot where I think it's always had great athletes, but you start to see how big volleyball is. And to your point, some of these girls, you watch Volleyball Day at Nebraska, you watch them sell out CHI. And even when we had it at PBA, I really like that at PBA. The Bob's great, but it's cool when you get to see it. Like, man, you give these guys Pinnacle Bank Arena, and I love my Husker basketball, but I don't, outside of Purdue, it's hard to think of that place rocking like it was when volleyball was in there. And you get all this excitement around it, and it feels like the recruits are just getting better around the state as well. When you were, because you mentioned it before, when the West Coast was kind of dominating, and then you see Nebraska, Penn State, 2 schools in the Midwest, did you always kind of know that there was a plethora of talent and desire for volleyball, or was it a little bit of a surprise when you start planting roots here and really started to see it?
I think I by the time I started coaching, Nebraska's been great since the 90s, but you just look around, when I was in college, or even before I was in college when I was playing club, I would do, you'd have, for boys volleyball, you'd have this USA program where we'd all go to Colorado Springs or Florida or San Diego, and we'd have, the top 40 boys around the country. But in men's volleyball, it's very West Coast dominated. Hawaii, Northern California, Arizona. You have Chicago, Wisconsin, a couple of kids from the East Coast, like upstate New York. You have a bunch of that DC, Virginia Beach, and Florida.
Okay.
So we'd go there, right? And they'd have a girls group there. And it's like crazy to see, like, the girls, they're from all over, so it's, you got girls from North Carolina, you got girls from Chicago, you got girls from Texas, you got girls from Oklahoma. Some of my best buddies that I've met when we were 15, 16, they were from all over the place. So that was when I first realized, like, wow, the women's volleyball game, it's all over. Now it's like exponentially grown in the last 15 to 20 years. But yeah, I think once I got here, you just start to realize, like, how many good athletes they have here. But I think the other thing, and I think the other big importance of the Creighton-Nebraska match is I think it's a really good visual for a lot of the high school and club coaches here, right? They go to this game and they see all these local kids playing in this game. And then they, go back to their teams and they learn some stuff. A lot of them come through our practices, and, we try to, hey, if we can make the coaches better, they will make the players better. And that's just going to be a win-win for everybody, whether it's us, Creighton, UNO, UNK, Wayne State. There's a lot of volleyball talent in the Midwest, and especially in this area. So, but yeah, I had some sort of idea, but obviously now you really see it, and it's definitely grown since, when I was 15 years old.
Yeah. And you mentioned before, obviously love volleyball being a place and thing right now. And then you have the PVF, and those guys obviously combined together, they don't combine together. League One volleyball, I think, is what it was, right? And League One and pro volleyball combined together. Love volleyball. It's separate entity, really doing their own thing. And I think they were smart to do so, realize the value kind of within their own borders here as those guys are continuing to build it up. But it's just a really cool spot to be. I think for a lot of women, what was the pro thing to do? If you wanted to live that athlete life, it was kind of Olympics. If you want to be a gymnast, Olympics. If you want to do volleyball, which was, kind of the popular sport compared to football in the fall for a lot of women, there still wasn't a real thing after college unless you can make that Olympic
right
team.
Or you'd have to go overseas and play.
Yeah.
Right. Like you'd have to go to Europe or South America or Puerto Rico or Asia to play. But I don't know. I guess going back to tying this into like the Creighton Nebraska game and volleyball here in Nebraska, I mean, we have technically, as of right now, because the AU Sports is playing their pro season. They're kicking. I think they actually start playing this weekend up in Omaha.
Okay.
We technically have the three pro leagues of volleyball: AU Sports, LOVB, and the PVF with the Supernovas. They're all here in the state of Nebraska for a little bit. AU Sports will be here. I believe they're here for like 3-ish weeks, and they're going up to another volleyball capital. They're going up to Madison.
Okay.
This is the for those that don't know, this is the league where they have a certain amount of players, and they just basically they draft teams each week, and they just shuffle, and whoever is the leader of points, there's 4 leaders, they draft the teams. So it's kind of cool how they
Yeah.
do it, and they base it off of points. And I know sometimes bonuses and how much they get paid is based off of like points they score, or they have a formula, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but that's going on in Omaha for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And obviously this spring we'll have the Supernovas and LOVB Omaha here. So it's just, we're the only state that has two of the pro, we're one of the two cities that have two of the pro franchises. And then the other league decides that we're going to play half their season in Omaha. So for me, like, what does that say about where volleyball stands here in Nebraska? I just think for a small state, there's a lot of people that care about volleyball. And the cool thing is other people from all over the place, whether you were ownership in PBF, you were a investor in the Love League, or if you're with AU Sports, they understand that, hey, Nebraska puts volleyball first, and hence why they keep choosing to bring teams here and leagues here, literally. So it's a really exciting time, and I think hopefully it just makes all the volleyball programs in the state better, and hopefully it makes high school and club volleyball even better here in the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, and it's to wrap it up before we go to break here, it's great that the TV deals are finally coming through too, and that's always the huge part. Me and DP kind of joke about it, like sometimes the way they drag their feet on this stuff, when you just got to look at the numbers. Like you put on, to your point, Fox, Nebraska, Penn State, the numbers always say, hey, even if we're not talking about just Nebraska, a lot of people outside of Nebraska are watching it, and us in the TV deals, the Fox, our pockets are getting lined up. These are working out really well for us. I mean, it's a win-win. I think they're finally discovering in volleyball, but just women's sports as a whole as well. I think it was 2 years ago with Don Staley, South Carolina. Wasn't Iowa. I can't remember who they had in the championship game, but that beat out the men's.
I think it was LSU, right?
I think you're right.
LSU.
I think it was LSU.
Angel Reese is LSU,
Yep.
Kim Mulkey, and that Final Four
versus Don Staley.
Yep.
And that beat the men's viewership for
Right.
their, which is crazy. I think you go back 10 years ago, you might tell some people that, the men's is always going to beat out the women's.
Right.
And then, nope, it was Don Staley versus Kim Mulkey.
Right.
And that just kind of I think helped alter the minds a little bit of these major TV deals. And now you're seeing them with volleyball as well. It's like, you can only get so many great ratings before you realize we just need to put this on more because the people are paying attention and they're watching.
Right. And I think that's for us, we feel that, we get asked to do events like the AVCA thing. There's going to be some events coming up here in the future. And sometimes I think Husker fans are wondering, why do you guys play on Wednesdays and then Sunday afternoons? Why don't you guys have the traditional Friday, Saturday home schedule? And as much as we would really enjoy that, we're playing on Wednesdays because of TV, and we're playing on Sunday afternoons during the Big Ten season because it's in this window of on Sunday, you stay away from college football.
Yep.
Obviously you have the NFL, which is king. But if you play in this 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Central window, you're kind of in between the football windows.
Yep.
So hopefully, we can get a lot of people tuning into that. So the big push is just can we get obviously people in the seats, but can we just keep pushing to where major networks keep putting volleyball on? That's the goal, and that's where the biggest, that's how we're going to really grow the sport, right? You just physically get it into more people's households, and people are watching it, and it's making it onto radio shows and people are talking about it. That's really, really how, in my opinion, how it's going to grow is can it just, can we show up on ESPN, or can we show up on ABC? Can we show up on Fox? Can we show up on CBS? That's where I hope, and where I, as an assistant, feel the responsibility to, we need to make sure, hey, obviously we want to win on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you ask the Penn State staff, they want to win on Friday, but there's a little bit of, I hope it's an awesome match for television. I hope Fox's, corporates are, man, this volleyball thing is awesome. And the ratings say it, and it's entertaining, and there's a lot of awesome personalities, whether it's the coaches or the players in the match, and the environment at Rec Hall was awesome. We need to put more of this stuff on television. And, for the most part, I can't even tell, but we've had so many, national broadcast matches already.
Yeah.
And it seems like each year we have more and more. And I can only speak for us, but just looking around, I feel like other teams are starting to get on it more as well. And that's really where the growth, I think, comes. And hopefully that, parlays into hey, other schools' athletic departments deciding, well, we need to step up because a Nebraska, a Penn State, a Texas, a SMU, Stanford, they're on these major networks. We need to, put some finances into our volleyball program. We need to put resources. We need to put facilities into our volleyball program because we want to try to catch those guys as well because they see the needle moving that way and they want to get out in front of it. And I think that's one thing Nebraska's done, years before now, but I hope it's coming to fruition. And end of the day, we don't rise if everybody else doesn't rise as well. Like you said about Penn State, us being in the same conference now, it's, even though it may be easier if we weren't in the same conference, it makes it better. It makes the sport better. And, we feel the responsibility at Nebraska to help do that.
Absolutely. Well, in the optimistic view, I'd certainly say the steps towards, getting on those national, we see it here. And I do think every year, because turning into a little bit like the Lakers, like you just go look at the volleyball schedule and it's like, who's on the national schedule? Nebraska. NBA, it's like Lakers. But to your point, those other games, if you're playing the Lakers, it rises your boat too, because you got a lot of more eyes on you. So it's a phenomenal thing. We'll keep talking some volleyball here. Don't go anywhere. Serve in Volley with Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes. I think DP might be joining us as well. So don't go anywhere. Right here, 93.7 The Ticket.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time for Bonsall Pool and Spa's Truckload event. From September 23rd through the 27th, stop by Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard to see an actual truck full of hot tubs with special prices. You'll save up to $3,000 on all hot tubs and swim spas, as well as $1,500 on all saunas and cold plunges. Use Nebraska football's bye week well by stopping in on September 27th for refreshments and giveaways. That's Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies. It will be breezy, see higher on 82. Tonight, decreasing cloud cover with light winds, a low around 61. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and warm with a high near 86. I'm meteorologist Kyle Piker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome into Sermon Volley with your host, Nebraska Assistant Coach and Recruiting Coordinator Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome back in. Serving Volley, Jaylen Reyes, Harrison Arns of the ones and twos. We got DP joining us to my left, and of course, the head coach in studio as well. You guys can still join in, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Facebook, YouTube, X Allo channel 961.
Man, you gonna have Danny calling us. You just called him the head coach. We gonna call the problem.
It's assistant
You
coach.
gonna cause a problem.
Definitely assistant coach.
Yeah, you're gonna have a problem. Danny, you're just screeching down O Street.
To be fair, I think that's the first time I've done that. So apologies, Danny Busboom Kelly.
Man, I don't want him getting in trouble on week 2. Like, yeah,
That would not be ideal. Big day Friday. Don't need bossing out of me.
Don't need that coming up. We'll talk about, hey, Harrison gave him a promotion. That's all right. First opportunity to say thank you for doing this. And I know that the listeners love you. Even from DC. I'll tell you a funny story. So you'll get it. I'm in DC for the week. I'm handling business. I have friends who are coaches around. They asked me to come check out these young ladies, and I can't give their names, but I can give you the schools, so you'll have some idea. Some of the top volleyball players in the country are sitting in Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia, and one of them was wearing a Husker T-shirt, Husker volleyball T-shirt. I'll let you do the math, but she was in consideration for the Gatorade Player of the Year.
Okay. Yeah. I know who that is. I think I know who we're talking about here.
Yeah. And 2 of her teammates were just literally in the conversation they were asking about Nebraska and how cool Jaylen Reyes is, and I thought it was pretty. I couldn't wait to go. I was literally going to film it and send it to you, but I was like, no, he's got a big ball game tonight. He don't need to be hearing about this stuff. But the fact that you guys reached DC, which to me, like it made my heart warm to have them talking about you that way, brother. Like you guys are doing the thing.
I'm first, I want to say thank you for having me. This is awesome. I've never been in this space before, and it's been really fun just chatting it up, and I look forward to it. But yeah, no, it's Nebraska volleyball. I think I get to meet a lot of kids when I do like USA volleyball stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the club Metro out in DC. They do a great job out there, and a bunch of Virginia juniors does a great job out there, and give those guys a shout out because they're great people out there. And I think of last year we had the pleasure of securing part of the Big Ten championship last year, playing Maryland in the DC area, and we got to play in the is it the Xfinity Center?
Yes, Xfinity Center.
And we played not in the Annex Gym, we played in prime time, and that thing's a beast.
Yes, sir.
But it was the DC people were there. They're there. They love their volleyball there, and cool thing about this job too is you get to go to some really cool places. Like we're about to go to a couple cool places this weekend. But every time we're in DC, man, it's a time out there. You know, I've lucky got to do some recruiting out there recently, and got to go to a bunch of the private schools out there up in that Virginia area. There's a lot of
Georgetown
talent.
Day, Georgetown Visitation, Georgetown Prep, St. John's.
Yep. Flint Hill is
Flint
another
Hill.
one.
Flint Hill. So our buddy Barry Thompson, coach, the one who's on air here, coached at Flint Hill.
Okay.
Like he literally just left there like a year ago. But,
Yeah.
His son won 3 state titles there. He knows all the people there, all the coaches there.
Okay.
They whispered, let him know. Let him know.
I love it.
We can help him. Let him know. He just need to make the call.
Love it. Appreciate all the help we can get. But no, and there's some. I think obviously for like every sport, especially I know more familiar with like the football side of things and the men's basketball side of things up in the DMV, but there's a lot of volleyball talent and there's just so many unbelievable athletes up in that neck of the woods.
I didn't know that it had the legs that it did. I knew that volleyball was big, but when they come approach you and tell you, hey man, come see us. Like, come see us, and you go to the gym, and then you see the young ladies, and then you see the fan support, which, again, I'm from there, so I can tell you that it's grown leaps and bounds since I stopped coaching there. And then the development. It is the thing you and I have talked about, that it's a lot of the daughters of former athletes.
Yes.
Who
you recognize the last names.
Yep. You just went through. I went through like one of those ones was one of those ones. That, Dad was the former NBA guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the thing. And then the other thing that becomes interesting is I have to watch myself because I get excited about talking about it. And then here they come with, my daughter's here looking. I'm like, wow, this is the business that you're in now. But them being able to watch you on, as you were talking about, them being able to watch you on Fox, on ABC, has really changed.
For sure.
One, the perception, and 2, the exposure to find out what this thing is. And yeah, you've got to be proud as heck because Nebraska is the pioneer in this thing, and they are the North Star. No matter who the reigning defending national champion is, if you talk women's volleyball in this country, Nebraska comes up first.
I mean, it's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a responsibility that we have to just make it better than what we found it. And I think one thing for sure when it comes to the TV ratings are we getting on those like big time networks, and are we getting on them during those like prime time hours? And I get it. We're never going to challenge, Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler's game on Sunday night. I mean, on Saturday night on ABC, but can we start creeping into those TV times whenever they're available? And I think networks are starting to see like, there's definitely some, traction when it comes to this volleyball thing. So hopefully we keep it going.
Well, I think you've shown that that's what it is, because this Friday on national television, in the matchup of all matchups, and quite frankly, I could look at Harrison. We're usually pretty on top of it. I can't tell you what the Friday night college football game is. Right. I can't tell you that you're going to go head to head with, you're the game.
So I always, and you guys should know this. Fox, there's always a game Friday with the Big Ten football.
Yep.
Is it always on Fox or is it NBC?
It's on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, so we're on the.
You're on the Big Bird.
That's why I was going to ask. Because I was going to ask if I thought we were going to either be before the football game on Fox or after. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're on Fox. Maybe they're televising. I saw Indiana plays Oregon in football, but then I realized like, no, that's on CBS on Saturday. Maybe Washington plays, I'm just thinking like maybe, okay, they'll get us in the East Coast time and then they'll put a Big Ten game on and they'll do Washington. Wow. I didn't know. I didn't realize we were on the big, I knew we were on the big dog, but I didn't realize we kind of were in front of or replacing a big dog.
You're going to be in the corners of the country. Like if everybody gets on the blanket, you guys are in the corners, in the main room, in the kitchen, in the living room.
We're going to be up in every sports bar up in this.
On a Friday night in America, it is about Nebraska volleyball and Penn State volleyball. And I think it's fantastic. One, that it's earned. Like that part. Like it's not given. This is earned.
Right.
This is that the early season metrics and then the tracking for it and then a perfect buildup. And it doesn't matter who else is playing. You have star power.
Mm-hmm.
You have the great story, and then so there's a dear friend of mine. She's a volleyball coach in Utah.
Okay,
and she's just like, you'll appreciate me asking this question the way she asked it. Does it bother Danny that Jaylen is on TV more than she is? The camera follows Jaylen. They could literally just have a Jaylen cam. Like
that would not be ideal for me, but yeah. I probably would also say though, if I was not Jaylen, I'd be like, there's times where I watch myself on video as we're watching maybe video and I go, what the hell am I doing?
You're aware now though, right?
Not in the moment, but there's a little, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're losing your mind here, bro. What are you doing? Or like, did I really do like the full Tiger Woods fist bump?
It's so good. Hey, literally, I think that, and our texters will validate this, that if they do a Jaylen Reyes fist pump count, you know how they do with strikeouts? And they just have like a meme of Jaylen in the fist pump and just post it.
Yeah, there's like a betting line, like an under-over. Hey, they play this game. The chances of this match is going 4 sets, which sets the under-over at this.
Harrison, what do you think? Let's assume. So you assume 3 sets, can't assume 5.
Mm-hmm.
So how many fist bumps? How many full Jaylen Reyes fist bumps do you think there'll be Friday night?
Too many to make it a drinking game. I'm gonna go.
Well, hopefully,
15.
right? I mean,
actually, you want more. You actually want the over. You want the over.
The great team that Penn State is there. They're going to probably try to make sure there's not too much fist bumping that Jaylen can do. But no. I mean, to answer your question, I don't really know. I mean, Danny tells me she wants me up there coaching block and defense. I think that's part of it. Is just I stand where the camera is even during the match, and I always kind of joke too. I think Danny would prefer me out there, like yelling and screaming, versus sitting next to her yelling and screaming. She probably tries to watch the game a little more in peace than I do. So I think we got a good thing going here throughout the first 12 games. But you know what? I'll actually go back and ask, but I think she's totally fine with it.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. All right, Harrison, get us the break.
We'll do a break. Don't go anywhere. One more segment, Serve and Volley with assistant coach, Nebraska Volleyball, Jaylen Reyes.
Awesome. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Copple's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
It's time for Bonsall Pool and Spa's Truckload event. From September 23rd through the 27th, stop by Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard to see an actual truck full of hot tubs with special prices. You'll save up to $3,000 on all hot tubs and swim spas, as well as $1,500 on all saunas and cold plunges. Use Nebraska football's bye week well by stopping in on September 27th for refreshments and giveaways. That's Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard in Lincoln.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Welcome into Serve and Volley with your host, Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, Jaylen Reyes.
Welcome back in. Final segment, Serve and Volley. Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes in studio. We got DP as well. And only a few minutes left to go here. DP, anything on top of your mind here?
I need to know. So after they beat Penn State Friday, and then before they beat Rutgers on Saturday, or is that Sunday? That's Sunday.
No, Saturday. Friday, Saturday this year.
Friday, Saturday,
3rd
back
and
to back.
4th October.
Will you find time to watch the Husker football team beat Sparty? Is that too close on the clock?
No, I think Coach Cook always had the Husker game on. I mean, we're on a bus, and he's like, if someone has a phone, if me or one of the boys have their phones on with the game on, he's like, he kind of asks to, hey, come up here, sit by him on the bus, and then it just kind of turns into like he takes your phone and he kicks you out of the seat. So it got to a point where we would just give him our tech guy, he would have it dialed in on his laptop. I
was going to say, there should be a team tablet.
Yeah, we got it going here. So Danny definitely kept that rolling. Obviously, Danny's married to Lane Kelly, former football player here in Nebraska. So, but yeah, no, girls, we have girls that are dating guys on the football team. We have girls that are obviously best buddies. I don't know if you guys noticed, but my nephew Dylan Raiola, he's a starting quarterback for the football team. So I got to make sure. I got to make sure to all the poly boys on the team are making sure they're dialing this stuff in. So no, it's for sure. We'll have. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule looks like on Saturday, but I know it's going to be around the football team, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see the response that we're going to see from those guys about. Obviously, I know. Maybe got pushed around a little bit up on the trenches during that Michigan game, and obviously a very talented Michigan team. It's not like we got pushed around by nobodies here. I would assume there's going to be a few of those guys that are playing on Sundays, but I'm excited to see the response that the staff and the boys come out with on Saturday. I'm really fired up because I feel like at the end of the day too, it's a sign of a good team is you don't let the loss beat you twice. So I want to see the response from the staff and from players.
It's awesome. Harris and I were having the conversation last night about rankings, and I just made a point that I would imagine that as a coach, there's no undefeated coach who feels like a team with one loss is better than theirs. You've had a better season. You've got the desired result. Undefeated should matter, and then you can pile up the losses and talk about it. I also asked the question. What is the equal? You talked about Michigan pushing around Nebraska football. What's the equal in volleyball? Is that blocking at the net? Is that high hitting efficiency? What's the bullying aspect in volleyball?
No, that's a really awesome question, DP. I think the first thing is just like can you defensively at the net? Can you start to take away and make the attacker uncomfortable? What I mean by that is even as great as some attackers are, there's going to be some great attackers at the net, starting with a Harper Murray, a Caroline Juravicius for Penn State, a Kennedy Martin, who's leading the country in points, it seems like. The team that can, even though they're great attackers, everyone likes to hit the ball where they want to hit the ball. The teams that can take that away and make the other person do something else and start to make them inefficient in that way, I think is one way. The other thing too is, can you affect the other team's setter? I would equivalent that to, can you affect the other team's quarterback, right? With pass rush, with schemes, right? You do that in volleyball with serving. Can you, one, move the setter around the net? Most setters just want to hang out at the net, stand there, get the ball, set the ball where they want. Can you make them start running around the court? Okay. Can you, and then obviously as a blocking team, can you make sure, hey, this person likes to hit the ball to point A. They're not scoring, hitting the ball to point A. I'm going to make them go B, C, D. Okay. And then I would say the other thing in volleyball too is serving and passing. So can you serve the ball? Can you influence the game by the power of your serve? And then can you receive the other team's serve, keep your setter on the net? So I would say it's definitely that, where can you make the other team hit the ball where they don't want to necessarily feel as comfortable hitting it? And then can you serve and pass better than the other teams? Those are probably the two things you'd probably look for if you're looking for we're
dominating.
Yeah, it's bully ball tonight. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, can we affect the offense by serving them off the net? And then can we, hey, these attackers are awesome, but there's a couple of shots that they feel really comfortable with. Can we try to take those away? And they're going to try to do the same thing to us on Friday.
I again, thank you for educating, for entertaining. But I'm thanking you in advance, as my grandmother would say, praise in advance. Congratulations on beating Penn State and Rutgers this weekend.
I really hope you're right, DP. Thanks for having me as always, and go Big Red.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Good morning, Pierce Snell. Dump on Tower up next.